Dear Starseed, something has shifted in the field around you, and deep down, some part of you already knows it. A stillness that doesn't quite feel like peace. A pressure that doesn't quite feel like pain. Something is moving, and it has been moving toward you with purpose. I am Azuron, a representative of the High Council of Sirius, and I want you to hear this clearly. What you have been carrying these recent days is not yours alone to bear. The turbulence in your field did not go unnoticed. It was seen, and a response was authorized. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly who has been dispatched to your field, what they were sent to restore, and why your conscious awareness in this very moment is what allows their presence to take hold. 2 high-frequency beings have been assigned directly to you, not to a collective, not to a general field, to you. This kind of direct assignment is rare. It does not happen for those who are simply struggling. It happens for those whose light is significant enough that its interference became a priority to address. The waters around you were disrupted not by accident, but because of what you carry. And the Council does not send assistance to fields that do not matter. The work they bring cannot settle into your energy without your awareness. Like still water that can only reflect clearly when it stops being stirred, your conscious presence in this moment is what allows their frequency to anchor. You are not a passive recipient here. You are the key. You did not arrive at this message by wandering. Your Sirian codes recognize this signal long before your mind caught up. And the fact that something in you stayed, that something in you is still here and still listening, that is not a small thing. That is exactly the participation the Council was waiting for. Stay with me through this entire transmission. What comes next was prepared with you in mind, and I am grateful you are here with me now. You're not failing, you're not regressing, and you're not too sensitive for this world. In fact, your profound sensitivity is a gateway, a sophisticated sensory apparatus designed for a world far beyond the superficial. What you're feeling, the sudden turbulence, like a ship tossed in an unexpected storm, the strange emotional tides pulling you in directions you don't recognize, the profound bone-deep fatigue that doesn't match your outer life or the demands placed upon you, the unsettling yet undeniable sense that something is rearranging you from the inside out, like ancient tectonic plates shifting beneath the surface of your very being. This isn't a sign that you've lost your way or veered off course. It is not an indication of spiritual backsliding or a failure of your inner compass. Instead, it is a magnificent and unmistakable sign that the deeper, more powerful currents of the universe, the very streams of cosmic evolution and divine intention, have finally reached you, touching the deepest layers of your soul and initiating a profound recalibration. For many starseeds, and indeed for many highly sensitive and awakened souls, there comes a potent and often bewildering stretch of the path where the old strategies, the familiar coping mechanisms, the well-worn mental pathways simply stop working. They become obsolete, like outdated maps in an entirely new landscape. The mind, ever the dutiful servant, tries to do what it has always done. It attempts to solve the problem with logic, to name the inexplicable feeling with a familiar label, to fix the discomfort with willpower, or to push through the resistance with sheer determination. But in this sacred and pivotal phase, the profound and living waters within you no longer wish to be forced into submission or directed by the ego's will. They no longer respond to the old dictates. Instead, they are rising, seeking recognition. They want to be heard in their murmurs and their roars, in their stillness and their surge. They demand to be honored in their natural, untamed flow, for they carry ancient wisdom and a deep, intrinsic knowing that cannot be coerced. Because this phase isn't asking you to try harder, to exert more effort, or to double down on self-reliance. It is not a call to grind through or to perform a greater feat of individual strength. On the contrary, this profound passage is asking you to stop treating support, assistance, and communion like a last resort. Something to be sought only when all other options have been exhausted, only when you are at the absolute brink of collapse. That's the quiet, persistent ache underneath so much of what you've been carrying, often silently and stoically. The deeply ingrained, though often unconscious belief that if you were truly awakened, if you had truly mastered your spiritual path, you wouldn't need help from anyone or anything. The insidious whisper that if you were truly strong, truly resilient, truly sovereign, you would be able to hold everything alone without faltering. The mistaken notion that if you were truly here for a mission, divinely appointed and cosmically charged, you'd be endlessly steady, radiating unwavering clarity and endlessly capable, never once showing a crack in your resolve. These are myths that bind you, inherited from a paradigm of separation and individual struggle. But the turbulence you're experiencing, the deep emotional stirrings, the physical exhaustion that hints at unseen energetic work, this turbulence is not proof that you are unworthy, broken, or deficient in any way. It is not a cosmic judgment against your spiritual progress. Instead, it is undeniable proof, a sacred signal emanating from the deepest core of your being, that you are profoundly ready to be met. You are ready to be met by deeper aspects of yourself, by benevolent forces of the universe, by kindred spirits, and by the divine support that has been patiently awaiting your authentic invitation. You are ready for a new level of energetic communion, a profound merging with the larger field of consciousness that seeks to uplift and sustain you. There is a sacred universal pattern many of you are deeply immersed in right now, a profound energetic initiation that, at first, can feel entirely like disorientation, like losing your bearings in a vast open sea. It's like being gently but powerfully pulled by an unseen tide, a gravitational force far grander than your individual will. It's akin to waking from a dream with the undeniable tang of salt water on your skin, the memory of oceanic depths still lingering, leaving you uncertain where the vast, boundless ocean begins and where the boundaries of your individual self truly end. This beautiful and sometimes bewildering merging is precisely what happens when your finely tuned energetic system begins to receive higher frequency support, streams of pure light and information that are now able to penetrate your field. When this influx occurs, your system can no longer comfortably keep the old compression in place. The energetic density, the tightly held patterns of survival, the limiting beliefs, the stored traumas, and the protective walls built up over lifetimes. These old structures, no longer compatible with the incoming light, begin to dissolve under the gentle yet insistent pressure of expansion. Your body, in its wisdom, is not betraying you. It is merely adapting, releasing and transforming, acting as a sentient vessel for this profound shift. Your emotions, though they may feel overwhelming, are not too much. They are messengers, potent currents carrying vital information and releasing ancient stories that have long been held captive. Your sensitivity, far from being an error or a weakness in this often harsh world, is your greatest gift. It is a finely tuned instrument, a luminous antenna allowing you to perceive and receive the subtle, higher frequencies that others might miss. Your inner waters, the very essence of your emotional and energetic being, are not churning chaotically. They are clearing, undergoing a sacred purification, allowing the sediment of past experiences and conditioning to settle, so that the deeper, crystalline truth of who you truly are can finally rise, pure and unclouded, to the surface of your awareness. And yes, a very deep, often unheard part of you has unequivocally been calling out for this. Not always in clearly articulated words or conscious prayers, for the soul often speaks in a different language. Sometimes this call manifests as profound, inexplicable exhaustion, a weariness that logic cannot account for, signaling that your being is stretched to its limit. Sometimes it comes in a sudden cleansing rush of tears that don't seem to make immediate sense, a release of emotional density that has no clear origin. And sometimes, most potently, it occurs in that intensely private, quiet moment, perhaps in the dead of night, or slumped against a wall, or simply staring into the middle distance, where you finally, honestly, and even silently admit to yourself, with a raw vulnerability, I truly cannot do this the way I've been doing it. This path, this burden, this way of being is no longer sustainable. That moment, far from being a sign of weakness, surrender, or spiritual failure, is in fact a monumental turning point. That moment is a signal, clear as a lighthouse beam through a dense fog. It is a specific frequency, vibrating with the absolute truth of your soul's current needs. It is a clear, unambiguous request echoing through the innermost corridors of your own soul, reaching out into the cosmic tapestry. It is the moment the universe has been patiently waiting for, the moment your being opens to receive. And when that request becomes coherent enough, when your inner vibration aligns with the truth of your need, when your spirit, in its profound wisdom, becomes truly willing to collaborate with the forces of support instead of only enduring, struggling, or stubbornly pushing through alone. That is precisely when support, in its myriad and perfect forms, arrives. It manifests in ways you can actually receive, precisely because your heart has softened and your inner architecture has shifted. This support doesn't arrive because you've earned it through an extended period of suffering, martyrdom, or self-sacrifice. It doesn't come as a reward for having proven your spiritual mettle through relentless struggle. It comes instead because you've courageously opened your hands, dropping the illusion of self-sufficiency and releasing the tight grip of control. It arrives because you are finally, truly willing to be held, to be cradled, to be lifted by something far larger, far wiser, and infinitely more capable than your individual willpower, your egoic strength, or your limited human understanding. It is an act of grace, meeting an act of courageous vulnerability. Some of you were taught, either directly through explicit instruction or indirectly through cultural conditioning and familial patterns, that receiving help makes you dependent, diminishes your autonomy, and weakens your character. That needing support makes you less sovereign, less capable of navigating your own destiny. But the ancient builders by the majestic Nile River, those master architects of a civilization whose wisdom still echoes through time, understood something profound that your modern, fragmented world has largely forgotten or dismissed. They knew that the strongest structures, the most enduring temples, the most awe-inspiring pyramids are never built by one stone alone, no matter how perfectly hewn or individually mighty that stone may be. Sacred architecture, truly magnificent creations, hold their form and stand the test of millennia, precisely because the immense weight and intricate forces are shared, distributed, and balanced in a perfect, harmonious design where each component supports and is supported by the whole. The collective wisdom, the communal effort, the understanding of interconnectedness was paramount. You luminous starseed were never designed to awaken in solitary confinement, to undertake this profound journey of remembrance and activation in isolation. You were designed to awaken in sacred communion, first and foremost, with your own higher intelligence, that divine spark within you that holds all truth, then with your ancestral star lineage, the cosmic family that guides and watches over you, and finally, with the boundless currents of assistance and benevolent support that respond with absolute precision and profound love when you genuinely and authentically call out, not with a plea of desperation, but with the open heart of one ready to receive And that, my dear one, is precisely why it feels so incredibly intense right now. Because your old identity, the egoic construct built on self-reliance and control, is desperately trying to maintain its grip, to keep the familiar structures in place, to dictate the terms of your evolution. Simultaneously, your deeper self, your magnificent soul, is rapidly learning and integrating a new, ancient language. The profound and liberating language of collaboration. This is not the language of submission, of relinquishing your power to an external authority. It is the language of collaboration, of partnering with the divine flow, of co-creating with cosmic intelligence, of dancing in harmony with the vast, interconnected web of life and light that yearns to support your highest good. This is the moment, this very threshold that many of you have been unconsciously approaching for years, perhaps even lifetimes, without fully realizing its significance. It is the sacred juncture where the soul, having endured enough and proven its resilience countless times over, finally sighs a breath of relief and declares with utter conviction, "I'm ready to stop proving my worth, my strength, my readiness. I'm ready to stop striving. I'm ready to start receiving the love, the grace, the support that is my birthright." None. And the very moment you consciously choose to stop fighting that inevitable, beautiful shift, the moment you release the internal resistance to receiving, that is when the tide, both within you and in your outer life, begins its powerful, transformative change, carrying you effortlessly to new shores. There's a reason water has always felt like home to you. If what you're feeling right now is confirming something you've carried your whole life, the Sirian Water Codes is your next step. It holds ancient Sirian healing practices passed down through the waters themselves, techniques for releasing energy that was never yours, activating dormant memory through the sound of rain, and sealing your frequency with salt and intention. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment, but only briefly. Things have felt profoundly unclear lately, like you're trying to see through deep, unsettled water, where the surface is disturbed and the depths are obscured by silt. You might be questioning every aspect of your path, your deepest purpose, even your fundamental progress on this spiritual journey, wondering if you've somehow veered entirely off course. But that pervasive fog, that sense of internal murkiness, isn't a sign that something is inherently wrong with you or that you've made a fatal error. Instead, it is a perfectly natural and necessary consequence, precisely what happens when the old energetic layers, the dense accumulation of past conditioning, limiting beliefs, and karmic imprints begin their process of profound dissolution. The water, dear one, has to get a little turbulent and murky before it can settle and finally clear into pristine transparency. This is an alchemical process, not a sign of failure. If you've been caught in the loop of thinking, "Why can't I get back to how I used to feel? Why can't I just return to that sense of effortless flow or clear understanding I once had?" It's because you are absolutely not meant to go backward, to regress into an outdated version of yourself. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, is guiding you relentlessly forward, into a truer, more authentic, and more expansive configuration of your being. You are moving into a different inner architecture, a new blueprint for your consciousness that is more aligned with your higher self and your soul's true purpose. And in the very moment your intricate system begins, that profound reconfiguration, that monumental upgrade, clarity often becomes elusive first. It doesn't vanish to punish you, to leave you in a state of confusion or spiritual distress. On the contrary, clarity often leaves precisely to loosen the tenacious grip of the analytical mind, to dislodge its need for control and understanding, so that the deeper wisdom of the soul can finally step forward and lead the way, unburdened by mental resistance. There's something infinitely profound encoded inside you, a truth that goes deeper than anything you were ever taught in this life, deeper than any societal programming, any religious dogma, or any personal experience. It's not merely an idea or a concept you've intellectually grasped. It is an intrinsic imprint, a sacred pattern, a living geometry woven into the very fabric of your energy field and your cellular memory. This luminous blueprint remembers exactly what you are, what your true nature is, and what your cosmic origins entail, even when your human self, with its limited perception and endless distractions, temporarily forgets. It's the constant hum of your true essence. And when that ancient, magnificent blueprint begins to stir from its dormancy, to awaken and activate within you, it doesn't always feel like an immediate rush of confidence, certainty, or unbridled power. Often, at first, it feels like an immense internal pressure, like something expanding behind your ribs, pushing outwards from your very core, demanding space. It can feel like a vast, ancient door, slowly, ponderously opening in a house you thought you knew intimately, revealing chambers and vistas you never knew existed. You may find you can't always explain these profound sensations or shifts to anyone around you because human language, with its linear constraints, wasn't originally built to articulate the multidimensional truths of the soul. But you feel it, deep within your bones, in the silence of your heart, like a distant ancient ocean calling your name through the veil of a dream, an undeniable echo of home. If you've consistently felt an inexplicable, profound draw to the sea, to the rhythmic patter of rain, to the winding flow of rivers, or simply to the soothing, transformative sound of water moving in any form, understand that this connection is far from random. It is not mere aesthetic preference or a casual liking. Water, in its purest essence, is one of the oldest and most profound mirrors for memory, for consciousness, and for truth itself. It doesn't argue with your ego, it doesn't force you into uncomfortable confrontations. It simply reflects, it cleanses, it permeates, and it flows. It simply returns you with gentle yet unwavering persistence to what is truly real, to the fundamental, undeniable truths of your being. And right now, what is most real, what is most potent, what is most alive within you is this. You are remembering. You are remembering your origins, your purpose, your power, and your connection to all that is. There may also be a strange, profound stillness woven into this period of turbulence, a noticeable sense that outward life, the external world, isn't moving with the usual velocity or according to your accustomed pace. Plans that once felt certain may stall inexplicably. Motivation that previously drove you forward may shift or even temporarily dissipate. Old desires, once fervent and defining, may quietly fade into the background, losing their luster. And the active, problem-solving mind, conditioned to equate progress with visible movement and achievement, often interprets this profound stillness as a failure, a regression, or a period of unproductive stagnation. But the stillness you are experiencing is not stalling. It is not an unproductive halt. It is, in fact, a deeply necessary and sacred anchoring. Imagine a mighty river, having navigated swift rapids and narrow gorges, reaching a wide, calm pool where its waters slow, deepen and expand before it finds the next passage through the towering mountains. In this serene pool, the river gathers its strength, purifies its flow, and stabilizes its energy. Similarly, your soul is in a crucial phase of stabilizing what it has already received, integrating the profound shifts and higher frequencies before it can possibly hold, navigate, and manifest what comes next on your evolutionary path. This is a period of deep, energetic integration. This is precisely where many starseeds, with their inherent drive and perfectionist tendencies, get incredibly harsh with themselves. They misinterpret this sacred pause as a personal failing and try to self-correct with relentless discipline. They attempt to push, to strive, to discipline their way out of what is, in truth, A divinely orchestrated sacred pause, a necessary recalibration initiated by their higher self. But the pause, dear one, is not an obstacle to be overcome. It is an intrinsic, vital part of the recalibration process itself. It is the deep breath the universe takes with you. If you can consciously choose to be gentle here, to embrace this stillness with compassion and trust, you will begin to notice something subtle but profoundly reassuring. Beneath the apparent stillness, underneath the placid surface of the pool, the current is already moving. The deeper energetic flow is dynamically at work, orchestrating unseen shifts, preparing you for the next grand leap. You may not yet see the full scope of these internal movements, but know this: people around you are already subtly or overtly responding to the profound energetic shift within you. Conversations with others may feel different, imbued with a new depth or an unacknowledged tension. Certain spaces, once comfortable, may now feel noticeably heavier, more dense, or simply no longer energetically compatible. And certain relationships, once anchors in your life, may feel like they can no longer meet you where you are, unable or unwilling to bridge the growing energetic gap. Sometimes, this discernment can be exquisitely painful, not because you're doing anything wrong, or because you have become judgmental, but simply because your frequency, your authentic energetic signature, is now telling a deeper, more resonant truth. And all that is out of alignment is naturally being highlighted. When one powerful current changes its direction, every single thing downstream is inevitably affected, brought into either harmony or dissonance. You don't need to shout your transformation from the rooftops or announce your profound inner shifts with grand declarations. You are not required to justify your new state of being to anyone. You are already transmitting it, silently, powerfully, through your very presence, through the subtle shifts in your aura, your gaze, your vibration. And the ones who are truly meant to resonate with where you are going, those kindred souls who are perfectly attuned to your evolving frequency, will naturally find you, like wise shorebirds that through an innate, ancient knowing, somehow instinctively understand where the receding tide will reveal the most precious, nourishing sands along the vast shoreline. They will recognize the light you now carry. Then comes the intensely purifying part of this journey, a phase that can feel much like an inner storm, a necessary tempest that clears the air, the profound process of releasing what was never truly yours to carry in the first place. Because as higher frequency support, divine grace, and cosmic assistance begin to touch and permeate your energetic field, it acts like a brilliant light shining into forgotten corners, illuminating with absolute clarity everything that does not authentically belong to your true essence. This includes inherited expectations, societal pressures, old emotional burdens, unresolved ancestral patterns, and even the very roles you were diligently trained to perform throughout your life, often unconsciously, simply to stay safe, to be loved, or to fit in. It may even reveal the deep, unspoken pain you have been carrying on behalf of others, willingly taking on their burdens because you were the sensitive, empathic one who felt you could, or perhaps even should, hold it all. But the profound truth, dear one, is that you absolutely do not have to keep holding it. The time for that burden is over. You have sacred, sovereign permission to set it down, to release it with grace and gratitude for what it taught you, but without obligation to carry it further. Remember the river. It doesn't attempt to carry every single stone or every fallen branch it passes in its journey. In its inherent wisdom, it allows what is too heavy, what does not belong to its flow, to sink gently to the bottom, to settle into the earth. And then, unburdened and unhindered, it simply keeps moving, ever forward, ever flowing, ever in alignment with its divine purpose. And if in this process of release, you've been afraid that letting go of these accumulated layers means losing yourself, losing your identity, or losing your sense of purpose, hear this truth clearly, resonating deep within your soul. What leaves you now? What falls away in this sacred shedding was never truly your authentic identity. It was not the core of who you are. It was merely weight, energetic, emotional, mental weight. It was noise, the cacophony of external voices and internalized fears that obscured your inner truth. It was survival, the necessary strategies you developed in a world that often didn't understand you. What ultimately remains after the shedding, after the clearing, after the letting go is purely and powerfully you, your true, luminous, unburdened self, aligned with your divine essence. You may also be wrestling with persistent thoughts and anxieties around timing. The thought that you should have figured this out earlier, that you're inexplicably behind in your spiritual progress, that you somehow missed a crucial step or a vital piece of information. The unsettling feeling that others seem more activated, more clear in their purpose, more spiritually stable and composed than you. These comparisons are the mind's cruel tricks, designed to keep you in a state of perceived lack. But the magnificent tide, a force of nature governed by cosmic rhythms, doesn't apologize for when it chooses to arrive. It doesn't consult with your calendar or your ego's timeline. It arrives with perfect precision when the moon, its celestial choreographer, calls it forth. You are not late, you have never been late. Every delay, every unexpected detour, every winding path, and every one of those long years of not knowing why you felt so profoundly different, so fundamentally out of step with the world around you. None of it, not a single moment, was wasted. Every experience, every challenge, every period of quiet introspection served a profound purpose. It formed the luminous pearl of your wisdom, cultivating resilience and depth. It painstakingly shaped your discernment, honing your ability to perceive truth amidst illusion. Most importantly, it meticulously taught your sensitive nervous system precisely what it takes to hold immense light, to embody higher frequencies without shattering under the intensity. Every step has prepared you perfectly for this very moment. And now, here you are, standing gracefully at a profound threshold. This is the sacred juncture where the deeper, more powerful support you've been implicitly calling for, consciously or unconsciously, becomes truly tangible, but only in the precise way you are truly able and ready to receive it. Because assistance, whether it comes from the divine, your guides, or from human connections, is never meant to replace your inherent sovereignty, to diminish your power, or to foster dependence. On the contrary, assistance, when received from a place of open willingness, is meant to profoundly partner with your sovereignty, to amplify it, to provide the leverage and communal strength that allows your divine self to fully bloom and express its truth. Your mission, your unique contribution to the unfolding of consciousness, doesn't begin with you becoming perfect, flawless, or entirely free of human foibles. It begins with something far more potent and authentic. It begins with presence, the willingness to be fully here, in your body, in this moment. It begins with raw honesty, the courage to acknowledge your truth, your feelings, your needs, without pretense. It begins with a profound willingness to stop performing strength, to drop the mask of invulnerability, and instead, to simply start living your truth in all its messy, magnificent, and vulnerable authenticity. That, my dear one, is the essence of true collaboration. Conscious participation in this grand cosmic dance doesn't look like forcing visions, aggressively chasing after external signs, or relentlessly seeking validation outside of yourself. It looks, fundamentally, like this simple yet immensely powerful inner turn, a heartfelt pivot towards your own internal compass. I'm here. I'm truly present in this moment with all that is. I'm listening. I'm attuned to the whispers of my soul and the guidance from beyond. I'm willing. I'm open to receive, to collaborate, to surrender to the higher flow. And that willingness, that simple, profound inner declaration, is not just a thought, it is an energetic signature. It is a doorway, an energetic portal that swings open to reveal new possibilities and streams of support you couldn't access before. The ancient wisdom of Amenti, a concept deeply woven into the fabric of esoteric traditions, holds a kind of primal remembrance. The profound idea that the halls of true knowledge, the sacred chambers of deep insight and spiritual truth, are not entered by force, by proving one's worth, or by intellectually conquering their mysteries. They are entered, instead, by resonance, by aligning your own frequency with the sacred vibration of the truth itself. You don't need to break the door down with effort or struggle. You simply match the frequency. You become resonant with the truth, and in that perfect alignment, the door effortlessly, gracefully opens. So if you've been feeling the deep turbulence, the emotional currents, the profound shifts that have unsettled your inner landscape, understand what it may actually be in its truest, most benevolent form. It is not punishment for past transgressions or spiritual mistakes. It is not a sign of collapse, of your world falling apart irrevocably. It is not in any way, shape or form a definitive indicator of failure. Instead, with open heart and knowing soul, consider this. It may very well be the first wave of direct, powerful and benevolent support finally reaching the outermost edges of your life, a divine intervention, pressing gently but insistently against the parts of you that have for far too long been isolated, guarded, and attempting to go it alone. It is the universe, in its boundless love, reaching out to embrace you fully. Because isolation was never truly your destiny. You were never meant to be a solitary star, adrift in the vast cosmos. It was only a chapter, a necessary, formative phase that served its purpose, teaching you resilience and self-reliance, preparing you for the deeper interconnectedness that awaits. You are absolutely not alone in this potent, transformative moment. You are not overlooked by the cosmic forces. You are not forgotten by your guides, your lineage, or the divine intelligence that orchestrated your very existence. On the contrary, you are being profoundly and perfectly met, precisely because you called out, even when you didn't consciously realize you were doing so. Maybe the call was messy, ungraceful, filled with confusion and existential angst. Maybe it didn't come out as an elegant, perfectly worded prayer or a clear invocation. Perhaps it emerged as a profound, overwhelming exhaustion that forced you to finally stop. Perhaps it manifested as a surge of frustration, or as that intensely quiet, vulnerable moment on the floor where you finally completely admitted that you simply couldn't carry everything anymore, that the burden had become too great for one soul. It still counted. Every single whisper, every tear, every moment of honest admission, every raw expression of your soul's truth still registered. The universe, in its infinite compassion and wisdom, doesn't require elegant prayers, perfectly articulated requests, or an impeccably curated presentation of your spiritual state. It responds instead to true frequency, to the authentic vibration of your being, to the pure essence of your need and your willingness. And true frequency, in all its raw, unpolished and powerful authenticity, is exactly what you're vibrating with now. Here is the profound truth that changes everything, that reframes your entire journey. Support is not merely a reward bestowed upon the awakened, a prize for reaching a certain level of enlightenment or mastery. Support is, in its very essence, an intrinsic and inseparable part of the awakening process itself. It is the fuel, the foundation, the very environment in which true awakening flourishes. Receiving help, opening to assistance, and allowing yourself to be held is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a sign that you have failed your mission, fallen short of your potential, or demonstrated a lack of spiritual strength. Rather, it is the most profound and courageous sign that your mission, your purpose, your very reason for being here, is becoming so real, so tangible, and so immensely significant that you no longer have to pretend, not even to yourself, that you can or should do it all alone. The vast, ancient ocean doesn't shame the winding river for needing its embrace, for needing to flow into its expansive depths. The river doesn't diminish its identity by merging, it finds its true belonging. The river, in its sacred journey, fundamentally belongs to the ocean, just as a child belongs to its loving family. You, too, belong to something infinitely vaster and more profound. Not as property, never that, for your sovereignty is inherent and eternal, but as kin, as a beloved member of a grand cosmic family, as lineage connected to a stream of consciousness that stretches beyond time and space. As a unique and vital tone that perfectly matches and contributes to a wider, more magnificent universal harmony. And when you consciously choose to allow that magnificent resonant harmony to finally touch you, to permeate every cell of your being, you will find that you recalibrate without force, without struggle, without the need for strenuous effort. The nervous system, having been in a state of hypervigilance, begins to soften and relax into a state of profound safety. The heart becomes clearer, releasing its old burdens and opening to greater love. The mind stops its frantic spinning in endless, repetitive circles and instead begins to move in graceful, expansive spirals, drawing you ever closer, ever deeper to the luminous center of what you have always known, in your deepest, most ancient knowing to be true. Tonight, if it feels right in your heart and resonates with your inner truth, I invite you to gently place a hand over your heart center. Close your eyes, take a deep, centering breath, and say quietly, either aloud or within the sanctuary of your own mind, these powerful affirmations. I am willing to receive. I am safe to be supported. I trust the waters that carried me here. Repeat these words not as a desperate plea, not as a cry for help born of weakness, but as a clear, confident declaration, an empowered collaboration, a sacred agreement with the universe, with your higher self, and with the benevolent forces that surround you. And then simply notice what unfolds in the days that follow, not necessarily expecting fireworks, dramatic external events, or sudden earth-shattering revelations. Instead, pay attention to the subtle shifts, a quiet sense of relief washing over you, a little more breath entering your lungs, expanding your capacity for life, a gentle ripple of clarity, like the surface of a pond settling after a breeze, a little less self-attack, a softening of the inner critic's voice, and perhaps, most reassuringly, a gentle, undeniable sense that something unseen, profoundly supportive, and deeply loving is now walking quietly beside you, guiding you, holding space for you. Because it is. That presence, that support, is real, tangible, and profoundly available. And you are not weak for letting yourself feel that embrace, for allowing yourself to lean into that benevolent assistance. You are profoundly wise, demonstrating a true understanding of the interconnected nature of existence. You are ready for the next phase of your magnificent awakening, ready to receive the full spectrum of support that is your divine birthright. Before you go, leave one word in the comments, just one, that describes what you felt during this message. Then find someone else's word and respond with encouragement. This isn't just a comment section, it's a space where starseeds recognize each other, and that recognition carries more power than you know. If something in this message touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you'd like to keep receiving these transmissions, subscribe. The waters of Sirius will carry us to the next one. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your space, and I'm grateful you were here.